Thank you for participating in our soil health benchmark study. This video will show you how to take accurate soil samples and how to submit those samples to the Cornell Soil Health Lab. Please follow these instructions closely and don't hesitate to contact us if you have any questions. Step 1. Plan when to take your soil samples. Take soil samples after all equipment activity and all soil disturbance is done for the year, but no earlier than September 31st. Take soil samples before the ground freezes. For many farms, but not all, the sampling window will be from mid-October to mid-December. Avoid taking samples at times when the soil is too dry or too wet and muddy. A good rule of thumb is if the soil is workable and able to be tilled, it's a good time for soil sampling. If you're sampling a vegetable field and a cover crop will be planted, take the soil sample after cover crop planting and after any field prep operations. If you're sampling a grain, row crop, or forage crop, take the soil sample after crop harvest or after the last cutting of hay. Again, if a cover crop or forage crop will be planted, take the sample after cover crop planting and after any field prep operations. If you're sampling a pasture or paddock, you can sample at any time starting in October, but before the ground freezes. Collect samples from all of your research fields on the same day. Step 2. Collect your samples. First, you'll need to gather the following supplies: 1 5-gallon bucket, a measuring cup, a ruler or tape measure, 2 1-gallon freezer storage bags for each field being sampled. You should have also received labels for your bags from PASA, a permanent marker, a shovel, preferably a sharpshooter instead of a pointed tip shovel. Next, you'll plan your locations. Visualize a path in the shape of the letter M. At each point in the M shape, you'll take 2 soil samples 5 to 10 feet apart from one another. This means you have 5 locations with 2 holes each with a total of 10 holes. Avoid field borders and any irregular areas or trouble spots, such as a low spot or rock outcropping. For fields and vegetable production at the time of sampling, plan to dig 1 hole in a production bed or crop row and another hole in a pathway or aisleway. However, if your system involves permanent beds, meaning the field is not tilled or rotated as a whole unit, dig both holes within the permanent bed. Now you're ready to dig your soil sample. Mark your shovel 6 inches from its edge to ensure consistency in your sample sizes. Remove surface debris around the sampling location. Use your spade or shovel to dig a small hole about 8 inches deep and 8 to 10 inches wide. From the side of the hole, position the shovel at a 90-degree angle to the ground and take a vertical, rectangular slice of soil 6 inches deep and about 2 inches thick. Remove any extra soil hanging past the sides of the shovel to ensure that the sample is the same width at the top and bottom of the slice. You want to end up with a rectangular, 6-inch deep and 2-inch thick slice of soil. If you must use a pointed tip shovel, take extra care to take an even profile of soil. Repeat these steps at the other hole at this location. When you have both soil samples from this location, mix the samples together, breaking up soil clods larger than an acorn with your hands. Transfer 1 cup of soil into the pre-labeled 1-gallon Ziploc bag. Make sure the field you're sampling from matches the label on the bag. Repeat these steps at each sampling location for a total of 4 more times. When you finish sampling your field, you should have about 5 cups of soil in your Ziploc bag. Double check to make sure each bag containing your soil samples is clearly labeled with PASA's name, your farm name, field name, soil sampling ID number, and then add the sampling date. Use an additional non-labeled Ziploc bag to double bag each soil sample. Repeat all the steps above for your remaining research fields. Do not mix samples from different research fields. Ensure that the soil samples that have already been collected are not sitting in the direct sunlight while you sample the other fields. Step 3. Pack and ship your samples. Soil samples should be shipped as soon as possible, ideally within 1 day if conditions allow. If you could not avoid taking wet samples, please reference our protocol guide on how to prepare these samples for shipping. Place the labeled samples into the shipping box. Do not send field management records or the postcard to the soil lab. Take the box to the nearest shipping facility and it's time to mail it to the Cornell Soil Health Lab. The only thing left to do is fill out the questions on the stamped and addressed soil sampling and field operations notes postcard provided by PASA. Put the postcard in the mailbox. This will let us know that you've sent your soil sample. As always, don't hesitate to contact us with any questions. Thanks again for helping grow the soil health movement.